Hi Mike, thank you for submitting your videos to fixyourgame.com. This is PGA professional Brant Kasbohm speaking. Overall, Mike, you've got a good, strong, athletic swing. My overall impressions of your swing are that you're using a lot of arms and hands in your swing, not a lot of your big muscles of the torso and the shoulders to swing the club. So I think we can work on a couple of fundamental things that will help you to make a better rotation. Use some more of the big muscles that will help you make a little more consistent contact, and also help to hopefully get you to generate a little more club head speed. I think you're leaving some distance on the table with what I see here today. First thing we're going to talk about is your posture. You can see here, look at, if I draw a line here from the base of your neck down to your tailbone, you can see the curvature in your spine, especially up the upper spine through your shoulders. You're slouched over at address. I would like to see you tilt forward a little more, but you have to do that by bending at the hips and not so much at the waist. I'm going to use this video over here on the right as an example. And this gentleman is yours truly. And while I'm using myself as an example, don't get the impression that I'm going to go out and win the U.S. Open anytime soon. But I do like to practice what I preach a little bit. So I want you to feel like you're tilting forward by bending at the hips and not at the waist. This means that we have to push your hips or your rear end back and keep your spine straight as you tilt forward. The feeling is that you're pushing your belt buckle back and not slouching forward over it. It's a very similar stance or posture to what you would find in other sports. If I were defending somebody in basketball, I'm not going to be slouched over. My spine's going to be straight. I'm going to be balanced over the middle part of my feet. Same is true if I were in a linebacker stance in football or a shortstop stance in baseball. You never see anybody in any kind of athletic stance slouched over. So I'd like to see you maybe step a couple inches farther away from the ball and get tilted forward a little bit more. If I get rid of these lines here, I'm going to show you about your spine tilt forward is in the low 30s, I would guess. And I'd like to see you tilted forward a little bit more than that, just so it'll give you more room to swing the club. You can see your hands are very close to your thighs. The grip of the club is very close to your thighs. I'd like to see it tilt forward a little bit more, create a little more room in your swing for you to rotate and accelerate the club. Getting into a better posture not only allows for you to make a better rotation, or the body is more flexible, the spine is more flexible when it is straight. It also is less wear and tear on your back too, so you'll be able to practice more, hit more balls, and you'll avoid additional wear and tear on your back. So I think your posture is limiting your rotation, and therefore it's causing you to swing the club a lot with your arms and hands, which is adding a degree of inconsistency. As we can see from this angle, let's advance your swing a little bit. You swing the club about halfway back. We see we get to about here, and then pretty much the rest of your swing is your arms and hands lifting the club straight up. You can see if you watch your arms here, your hands, they just pretty much go in this direction straight up from here. And I think that's a limit. That's because your flexibility is limited due to your posture. So I'd like to see you get tilted forward a little bit more. Keep that spine straight and just feel like you're rotating your torso back and through. And a good drill to practice is to take some practice swings and make note of where the butt of the club is and where your sternum is. And on the way back, the butt of the club should be pointed at the sternum, or the butt of the club should be in front of your sternum throughout the backswing. Throughout the swing, you don't want to lift the clubs up without any torso rotation, because that way, when you do that, the butt of the club gets behind you, or it gets kind of stuck behind you. It forces you to swing the club using your arms and hands. Let's take a look at the face-on position here and see what we can see. I noticed in one of the YouTube videos that you had posted earlier, you talk about not getting the club to parallel. And I really don't want you to worry about where the position of the club is at the top of the swing. What's most important is getting as much of a torso rotation as you can, and let the club be where it is. Too many people, I think, try to get the club to parallel, and they end up lifting it up with their hands, or losing the excessively hinging it with their wrists, and they're not worried so much about the torso rotation. I'd like to see you make a more full turn and more full rotation with your torso. I'm going to draw a line here from your left shoulder and to your right shoulder. You can see a bit of your right shoulder on this side of your head at the top of your swing. So let's go a line from here, and bear with me. I'm drawing a line, three-dimensional line on a two-dimensional object. So I think this is going to show you about what your shoulder rotation is as a percentage basis at the top of your swing. And you can see, I believe you're leaving some rotation on the table here. You can see I'm getting my shoulders rotated past 90 degrees, and you can see here before I draw a line, you can actually see my right shoulder at the top of the swing, whereas over here with your swing, I can see your right shoulder on this side of your head at the top of the swing, as opposed to seeing your right shoulder on this side of your head at the top of your swing. So you're leaving a lot of club head speed on the table, and you're swinging the club a lot with your arms and hands. If we fast forward your swing to impact, you can see the effect of swinging the club with your arms and hands two ways. Right here at impact, you can see you've released the club a little bit early. You can see the club's right at impact. You can see the blur of the club striking a ball, and the club head is ahead of your hands at impact. That means you've casted, or you've released the club early, as opposed to hitting the ball with a descending blow where your hands would be ahead of the ball at impact. So here I am, this is the closest frame to impact here, and that's my hands are ahead of the ball at impact. So I'm hitting the ball with a descending blow, taking a divot which will be ahead of the ball. And you make note of hitting the ball high, and that's very apparent from this position, because the early release means that you're adding loft to the club. When the club head passes your hands, you've added loft to it at impact. So you're basically turning your 7-iron into a 9-iron. So you're also not only adding loft to it, but that as a result you're losing distance as well. So I'm going to go back to your posture and kind of try to sum everything up here. I want you to get into a more balanced, athletic posture, which will allow you to make a more thorough rotation of your torso, and also by tilting forward a bit more will clear some room for you to rotate your hips throughout the swing. And I'm going to go back to this angle, and I'm going to show you the lack of hip rotation at impact. You can see here, I'm going to advance your swing to impact, and we're going to get it right on impact, right there. One more frame. And you can see here, I can only see one of your back pockets, or I can only see your right hip here at impact. Very little hip rotation. Let's take a look at the example here, and at impact, you can see I've opened my hips towards the target, and you can see both of my back pockets. You can see the middle of my lower back. I'm actually wearing a microphone here when I was hitting these balls, and you can see both of my hips here. And so that opening motion of your hips is a good thing to practice as well, and you can take slow practice swings and focus on opening your hips. So you can see here at let me stop it at the top of your swing here, right there. I'm going to draw a circle around your left hip, which is right about there, and you can see where it is at impact, and it really hasn't moved too much. Now let's take a look here. I'll go back up to the top of the swing, and I'll draw a circle here around my left hip, which is right about there, and then you can see at impact, you can see my left hip is now over here. So my hips have opened up, and that move creates a lot of club head speed, and also helps to impart that downward strike on the ball. So the main thing I see in your swing, it starts with your posture, and I think it snowballs from there. Your posture is causing you to lose flexibility, which in turn is causing you to swing the club with arms and hands. And also the posture is not giving you room to open your hips enough. So I would really encourage you to get into a more balanced, athletic posture. And I think that would help to increase your consistency in your ball striking, and as well as add some distance. Also, be sure to take a look at the written part of the lesson analysis. I've attached some links to some YouTube videos where I demonstrate a number of drills. And if there's any questions, please email me at any time, info@fixyourgame.com. If anything's not clear, or if you need further clarification, have questions, or if I simply don't make sense, please email me and I'll do my best to explain it better. Thanks, Mike. Hope you're doing well. Have a great day.